Acts chapter 2 and verse 17. And it shall come to pass in the last days, save Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, to the Akim Akwaf, Shalom. And we're going to look at that word prophecy. It said your sons and your daughters will prophesy. And in Greek, that word is prophetuo, and it's to foretell events, divine. It says speak under inspiration, exercise the prophetic. So when you have these dreams, you basically is getting a vision from the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, but you have to understand the interpretation of it. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So that's what happens today, even today, when you have a dream and you don't have an interpretation of it. You normally will go to a man of God, but in Esau's wicked kingdom, you normally go to a woman, a prophetess, which is all blasphemy against the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. But nevertheless, you go to a seer. And this especially is a thing that you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native American women do. They always go into the prophetess to get them the understanding of the interpretation of their dream, so to speak. But, in the ancient days, they went to a man seer. That's why you got the prophets, major prophets and the minor prophets, which they all prophesize in the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. So and again, in order for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans to get correct understanding of your dreams, that the visions that you're going to be having in these latter days. And again, we are in the latter days. We got the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. It is slowly but surely being implemented. A lot of countries, Sweden, even in the United States, up in Michigan, they had to pass a law that made it mandatory that business don't make it mandatory as of yet. So what you have here, these are the three conflicts that are taking place on the planet Earth right now. You have Greece and Turkey, as we all know, that's in the news daily. You have India and China, and you have the United States and China. These are all conflicts or rumors of wars that can take place and break out at any moment. So you got the RFID chip, you got mark of the beast. You have wars and rumors of wars, and you have this COVID-19. This is out of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And what he's saying is that, once you start hearing the rumors of wars, that the end is not yet. Which is going to bring us back to Acts 2 and 17. And it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days. Again, we're talking about the last days. We just talked about wars and rumors of wars. We just talked about the RFID chip, also, which is mentioned in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 on down. Now we're talking about the prophecy. And we're going to read it. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Salakia, upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young man shall see visions, and your old man shall dream dreams. And he was saying this in the last days, all these things going to start taking place. Wars and rumors of wars, that pestilence and plagues and famine, which are all taking place on the planet Earth today, especially here in America. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua gave you an indicator of the last days. Matthew 24, verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdoms, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and ye shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is telling you what's taking place. He's telling you the conditions going to take place on his last days, which we already know, the uproars of the people. So ever since all these police killings been taking place, it just came to a final head where the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans decide to get out on the highways and start marching, and gathering yourselves in these cities, to marching against the oppressor that this devil Esau Edom is placed on. Saint Matthew chapter 24 and verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. The love of many shall wax cold in these last days. That means that, to break it down quite simple, you so-called Edomites gonna hate Jake, which would be you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. And you Negroes, Latino, Native Americans, y'all gonna raise up against the so-called Edomites and the other heathen nations. St. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 11. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, which I just stated that love of many shall wax cold. Verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So the Most High is telling you, when you hear of all these rumors of wars and all of these uproars of the people, hey, the time is nigh. And we're going to prove this biblically and scripturally, that the time is at hand for the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to return to the earth. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 1. And he answered then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he's beginning, to visit the world in which he made. How can we tell? We went back to Matthew 24, where he said, when the uproars of the people, when you have rumors of wars, also, you got earthquakes in diverse places. We also, again, we're going to go back to the RFID chip, which is being implemented slowly. We also have this forced vaccination, which is going to take place. And we also have the uproars of the people. Measure the time. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 3. Therefore, when thou shalt be seeing earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. The Most High is telling you that, hey, we at the end of this rulership, Esau Edom's rule. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 6. Even so the times also of the highest have a plain beginning, and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. Verse 7. And everyone shall be saved, shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and your works that you have kept his laws, statutes, commandments to the best of your abilities in this captivity. And verse 8, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them from the beginning. So what the Most High is saying, the elect of you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, he have sanctified you from the very beginning, that you're going to withstand these said perils times that going to come on the earth. And we're going to prove it biblically. What said perils is the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So, the time that this perilous time that's coming, it's going to be Jacob's trouble. That's when, again, the nation shall rise up against nation. And nation ain't a country. Nation is a people, different nations of people. And they're going to start fighting with one another in the streets, robbing and killing. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And that shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered. Every one shall be found written in a book. So Jeremiah and Daniel, they seen the time of Jacob's trouble. So, nations going to rise up against nations. Again, Daniel and Jeremiah seen this great tribulation. Ultimately, you know, America, which is Babylon the Great, which is also spiritual Egypt, which is Sodom and Gomorrah, it's going to be destroyed by ICBM missiles. So when all these signs come to pass, you're going to know again that the Most High is on his way. Also, if you just go read, I'm not going to go to it, but if you go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15, it also tell you how people going to stand up with swords in their hands and fight against one another. So we're in the last days. We got famine. We got pestilence. We got this COVID-19 pestilence. We got these rumors of wars. We got the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. I don't know how much more I don't know how much more evidence you need to see, for you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans to understand that we're living in the last days. And again, I often say this: you go to church, especially you so-called Christians, go to church, all your life for this time period. This is the time period that you should be glorifying this, that you should be praising, that the Most High Yahweh Shai is on his way to the earth. And in closing, we're going to close with Acts 2:17 again. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. And your old men and your sons and daughters are going to prophesy and see visions in these last days. So when you have a dream, you need to try to be spiritual and connected to the biblically. Revelation chapter 21 verse 12, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That's your reward for those of you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans who come to the repentance and come under the banner and understanding that the Most High name is Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rekakadash. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22, and thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of Israel, is my first son, even my firstborn. Your reward is the 12 gates. The Most High, he never changed. He the same power yesterday, today, and forever. Point blank, period. In ending, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Again, who I'm learning this 100% truth from. And to the Akim and the Akwaf listening and learning, Shalom. I hope this lesson has been edifying. And to the next one.